Welcome to STACHE Sports episode 38. Wow, what a Royal Rumble we had this week. If you have not seen the Royal Rumble, you might not want to watch any further in this video, so I'm about to spoil it. For the women's Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumble started off with the women's Royal Rumble match. That was pretty good. We had 30 different women coming in and out. A lot of the women that were announced were from NXT, so that's nice to see the NXT superstars get called up and to see some of them. I went Alexa Bliss to win, but she got knocked out in the middle or earlier on in the fight, but couldn't win. But then Liv Morgan came out and was doing pretty good. I like Liv Morgan too. She knocked out Raquel, so I wonder if that's going to add to the storyline of Judgment Day, or if we're going to keep the Judgment Day intact, or if that's going to affect the Judgment Day or anything. But anyway, our biggest surprise return woman was Brie Bella. I was shocked to see Brie Bella and Nikki Bella both in the WWE. This is not long ago. For those people who don't watch wrestling, the Bella twins were not like WWE when McMahon was in charge. They're not like WWE when McMahon was in charge, and wanted to leave the company, and they even changed their name to the Garcia twins, and wanted nothing to do with the WWE. But now that Triple H is in charge, I guess they are back. But that's nice to see the Bella twins at least one last run. I wonder if Brie Bella's gonna do stuff by herself now that she's back, and I wonder if that means that Daniel Bryan, yes, comes back too, because Daniel Bryan's married to her. But I think Daniel Bryan's still in AEW wrestling. But I wonder if he's gonna come back to AEW WWE before his career is done. But that was a good event. It was a really good event. It came down between Tiffany Stratton, Sol Ruca, a newcomer, I think. That's pretty good. And the winner, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan won it. This is the year for Liv Morgan. I can't wait to see tonight on Raw, or later on Raw when I watch it. Probably not tonight. Or SmackDown this week, and I'll watch it later on to see who Liv Morgan picked as her opponent for WrestleMania, because she punched her ticket to WrestleMania in Las Vegas. Whoever she's going to pick, it's going to be a good fight. Liv Morgan's back this year, and she needs to have a good title run. We need to have a good Liv Morgan singles run, and she doesn't need to be having a championship title defense with Roxanne or Raquel Rodriguez. I don't forget her name. But I wonder if her knocking out Raquel Rodriguez is going to affect the friendship between them. Because it's a big group, and sometimes big groups on WWE don't last long when they don't have a purpose and they try to break them off. I wonder if they're going to break off Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio or something. But time will tell. It's going to be interesting to see what the storyline to go down with this now that Liv Morgan's the Women's Royal Rumble winner. Congratulations, Liv Morgan. I mean, she was one of my top 3 women to win the Royal Rumble. So I liked the event. I thought it was a good first match. Then the next match was the AJ Styles versus Gunther match. And that was a really good match. I went down to the wire, but Gunther ended up putting AJ Styles to sleep, ending AJ Styles' career in WWE. Some people are led to believe that AJ Styles might not ever wrestle again, and some others think AJ Styles might go to TNA, like me, or All-Star, because TNA has a TV deal with AMC that's on TV now, and he went onto one of the first episodes of that show and was talking, so he might go there since he's not going to be in WWE anymore since he's retiring this year. But it was a good career for AJ Styles. He is a phenomenal one. He did have a lot of champions and had a good career, so if that's his last match, congratulations AJ Styles. Enjoy retirement. But I was glad he lost, because I would like John Cena, and Gunther knocked out John Cena. And I don't think that Gunther should have lost his first title defense. I don't think Gunther should have lost his first title defense after beating John Cena, because I think that would have looked bad on the company. It would have looked bad more on Triple H to have him lose to AJ Styles. No offense to AJ Styles. Like I said, AJ Styles is a really good wrestler. And in my opinion, that's what I think. Next, we had Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. That was a good match. That came down to the wire, but Drew McIntyre ended up winning. And a good match. And I thought it was a good match in the Royal Rumble, but Drew McIntyre ended up winning. But like I told my brother Kyle, who I was watching it with, I think that Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn's not done yet. I think that's going to be the storyline for Drew McIntyre's title, or Sami Zayn's story, like they had Cody Rhodes' story a few years back when Cody Rhodes was fighting Roman Reigns. When Cody Rhodes was fighting Roman Reigns until he finally got his belt, but we'll see. I could be wrong, but that's what I think is going to happen. Is they're going to try to have that, because who I want to see who won the men's Royal Rumble, and we'll get to that in a minute. I want to see him fight somebody else. But we'll see. But it was a good match. It's going to be interesting to see who Drew McIntyre fights next and how long he can keep the title for. And if we can make the title good and have a good defense and good stage presence and a good mic skills, because that's also stuff we need in WWE, is to have good stage presence and be good on the mic when you have these big titles like Drew McIntyre has, and not to be bad, because you don't want to be like, oh, he's the champion, but he's not that good on the mic. But anyway, then we had the men's Royal Rumble. A lot of people are upset because they didn't have a lot of big surprises in the men's Royal Rumble. They just had a couple people from AAA wrestling. But a couple of the big surprises were, we had the original Grande Americano. Thank you! Who everybody thinks is Chad Gable, because Chad Gable has been out for quite a while. And the El Americano in a match. So that's pretty funny watching both the El Grande Americanos fight each other, I thought. But some people didn't like it. Because they didn't have, we'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, I liked it. And then we had a couple people, the Lizard Man from AAA Wrestling that they own, and the Some Skeletor guy from AAA Wrestling that they own, come into the Royal Rumble. And we had Powerhouse Hobbs, whose new name is something Keys. I forget his first name right now, because he just came, Royce Keys. We have Royce Keys now, who's Powerhouse Hobbs, who's Powerhouse Hobbs, who used to be in AEW. It's an upcoming AEW star. He's going to the big leagues now in WWE. So it'll be interesting to see what storyline they have with him. But also in the men's Royal Rumble, it was interesting to see Obafemi knock out everybody he did. Obafemi had a lot of knockouts. I can't wait to see him come up on SmackDown or Raw, whichever brand brings him up from NXT, because he's going to be a force to be reckoned with in WWE. That guy's one big dude, and he's going to be tearing through everybody in the WWE when he gets called up, which I think is going to be pretty soon. I think he's on SmackDown already, but I could be wrong. But anyway, Obafemi looks really good. But the interesting match started off with number 2 came out, Braun Breaker from Division. Some guy in a maxed hood attacked Braun Breaker pretty bad and threw him in the ring for an easy over the rope throw, for the easiest over the rope throw for anybody, which was given to Obafemi from NXT, that's getting called up to, I think, SmackDown. But he threw him over the ring because everybody thought Braun Breaker was going to be a heavy favorite to win the whole thing. But since the man in the max and the hooded max attacked him, that didn't happen because he got thrown out as the first participant after getting attacked by the person in the mask. A lot of people think it's Seth Rollins. I think it could be Seth Rollins too. Other people think it could be Adam Pearce, because if you've been watching Raw, Adam Pearce has been having the feud with him. Or maybe some people think it could be Austin Theory turning him on. It could be Austin Theory, because he did run backstage and he would have had enough time to come out for when Austin Theory came back. Even though Austin Theory's in the division, he could be doing some kind of dirty work for Seth Rollins or something. But I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see what happens to that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to that. But anyway, the winner of the men's Royal Rumble was Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns came in and attacked everybody and ended up winning the Royal Rumble. I thought the Royal Rumble was good. I know people wanted a lot more surprises. Some people wanted Chris Jericho, who's a 53-year-old man, to come back from AEW, but I think he's still under AEW contract. But people wanted him to come back and have more surprises. But I thought it was an overall good event. I think they could have cut down a little bit of a Jey Uso theme song. I mean, I like Jey Uso, but there's a time and place for that song to be extra, and I don't think that was the time. They could have cut down on that a little bit. But I think it was a good event. It's going to be interesting to see who the man in the mask is now and what's going to happen to the division, because everybody thought Braun Breaker was going to win the event, but Roman Reigns did. And who Roman Reigns fights now? Does he fight Drew McIntyre or does he fight CM Punk? I prefer him to fight CM Punk because I think it would be a really good fight at WrestleMania, Punk versus Reigns. That'll be a good match for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that's who he should go after. I don't know who Liv Morgan should go after because both of them would be good. But I mean, Drew McIntyre would be good too. I just think Punk and Reigns would be better. It would be a better card match in my opinion, but I could be wrong. I just think that'll be a better match. But we'll see who Roman Reigns picks and who the champion is by WrestleMania when it's in April. But that's a good way to start it off. I know a lot of people complain because they didn't, but a lot of people complain a lot at WWE. Well, today, as you see back there, I got a Florida State jersey hung up. The Florida State offensive coordinator, Gus Malzahn, retired today after coaching FSU offense for 1 year. You might remember Gus Malzahn as he was the ECS football coach for a few years when I used to go to college there. He was a decent coach, but moved on last year when we got Scott Frost, who was our coach last year and was the coach before. But we got Scott Frost because Gus Malzahn decided to leave Florida State or UCF last year. I mean, Scott Frost decided to leave UCF last year to be the offensive coordinator at Florida State, and now he's retiring. Congratulations on a good career, Gus Malzahn. It's going to be interesting to see who Florida State gets as a new offensive coordinator. Next, in the NFL, the last few vacancies have been closed. The Cardinals are hiring Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams to be their next head coach. And the Las Vegas Raiders are going to hire Clint Kubiak after the Super Bowl. And also the Seattle Seahawks are going to be sold after the Super Bowl, which is interesting. I'm surprised the Seahawks are going to be sold after the Super Bowl and they're going to have new ownership. It'd be cool if they won the Super Bowl. The new owners are coming in of a Super Bowl winning team, of a good quarterback. It's going to be interesting to see who buys the team and who has all that money to buy it and how much billions of dollars to go for. But the Seahawks will be up for sale after the Super Bowl. I found that an interesting story this week too. But congratulations to the new coaches. We'll see how good they do and how long they last. But all the head coaching jobs have been filled now. Earlier this week on Tuesday and Saturday, the Penguins beat the New York Rangers in Pittsburgh 6-5. The Penguins are looking really good, but they started to have the Rangers come back and almost come back and win a game. But luckily, the Penguins were able to hold off and go on to 6 straight. The Penguins looking red hot right now. Who would have thought this going into the season that the Penguins would be red hot going into the Winter Olympic break? But the Penguins are red hot right now going into the Winter Olympic break, and they have a game tonight against the Ottawa Senators. They have a game tonight against the Ottawa Senators, and I think the Penguins are going to win tonight. Ben Kendall has been looking really good of late, and a lot of the younger Penguins have been scoring, and other teammates and other lines have been scoring other than just Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, which is good to see. And it's good to see It's good to see Stuart Skinner and Andrew Sheoffs and Arthur Sheoffs as good goaltenders right now for the Penguins. It's going to be interesting to see what they do at the trade deadline and hope they can continue their hot streak even though the All-Star break's coming up. But some of the playing players like Crosby is going to be on the Canadian teams, and some of these other players are going to be on their respective countries' teams playing for the Winter Olympics coming up. But it's going to be interesting to see. But I think the Penguins win again tonight and continue their winning ways against the Ottawa Senators. I think they continue their red hot ways. I think Crosby scores tonight. I think Ben Kendall gets a goal tonight. I think Brian Rush scores tonight if he's playing. But we'll see. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think the Penguins beat the Senators tonight and continue their winning ways. They're looking really good right now. I wonder if who's going to be in net, if it's going to be Stuart Skinner or if it's going to be Sheoffs, because they've both been looking really good of late. But it'd be interesting to see what happens. But I think the Penguins are going to win tonight. Dan Muse has really turned the Penguins around. It's interesting to see that the Penguins are looking a lot better right now than the New York Rangers, where old ball coach went. I think that's interesting, but the Penguins are looking a lot better now than the Rangers. Maybe it was a good thing, but they switched their coaches, even though he was doing good with maybe it was a good thing the Penguins switched their coach, because Dan Muse has really turned the script around. I know we got a couple more players this year, and a couple of different line changes this year for the Penguins. But he's making them look pretty good this year. this year. Let's keep it up, damn Muse. And also, Kyle Dubas, our general manager, has been swinging deals and signing players. He could be executive of the year. He is looking really good. It's going to be interesting to see what Kyle Dubas does at the trade deadline coming up soon, since the Penguins are red hot and looking like a playoff contender team. Does he try to go for a big player like Robertson from the Dallas Stars? I don't know. I don't know if I want to, unless it don't give up that much. But what are they trying to give up for Robertson? I mean, he has 26, and he is scoring 30 goals, which is quite impressive in hockey. But we'll see. I think it's going to be it's quite impressive in hockey, but we'll see. If they try to get anybody, if they just try to get like lesser names to try to help around the depth or whatever. But it'd be interesting to see whenever the trade deadline comes up to see if the Penguins do anything, since they have changed the season around from the beginning and are red hot right now. But anyway, I think the Penguins are going to win tonight. I think the Chicago Blackhawks are going to beat the St. Louis Sharks. So I think the Blackhawks are better, and I like the Blackhawks uniforms. But I think they're going to beat over the Sharks. I think Florida's going to beat Buffalo, but Buffalo is looking really good. Buffalo could be in a playoff spot. Who would have thought the Buffalo Sabres would be in a playoff spot before we get Grand Theft Auto 6? That's an interesting thought. But the Buffalo Sabres are looking really good right now, even though we still have a lot of season left and are coming up, like I said, on the All-Star break. I got Buffalo over Washington. I got the Canadiens over the Wild. I got Nashville over the St. Louis. I got the Jets over the Stars. I got Colorado over Detroit. I got Vancouver over Utah. And I got Toronto over the Flames. I think Vancouver's going to beat Utah, but I don't like the Utah Mammoth. I think that's a stupid name. They had a whole year to come up with a name, and they come up with the Utah Mammoth. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. But that's who I think is going to win. But let's see what the Penguins do tonight. Maybe Malkin gets a goal tonight for the Penguins. But they are looking red hot of late. I'm really glad they're looking a lot better of late. Also, one of my friends, Robbie, he called me a little earlier trying to talk about Paul Skeens winning out of Pittsburgh, but that's not happening anytime soon. We have Paul Skeens here for a couple more years, and we got a couple of hitters this year for the Pirates. So that's good. Let's hope that can help the Pirates, and they can do good. But thank you for watching Stache Sports, episode 38. If you have any comments, please leave them below, and please like and share my video.